Welcome to the All Things Nintendo podcast. I'm Brian Shea, and this is a weekly podcast to discuss all the biggest news and games from the world of Nintendo. There is not much going on this week, but we have a fun episode for you as we will be ranking Nintendo's various worlds and universes by how unlikely it would be that we could survive there. And we're going to get a little weird with this one. I hope you will enjoy it. Joining me for this fun ranking episode is Digital Trends Giovanni Colantonio. Gio, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Great to be here discussing a very important topic, I would say, for this episode. Really exciting. And just enjoying the heat wave that we are coming out of right now in good old New York, which is rough.
Yes, I was there just yesterday. I woke up in the city that never sleeps yesterday, and it was about 88 degrees, I think, when I woke up yesterday morning and walked for my ceremonial bodega breakfast sandwich, I sweated through my shirt before I got to where I was going.
Yeah, we hit like a 96-degree day in there, and I tried to go outside for a second, and I was like, oh no, my shirt's wet now. This is bad. It's been rough. It's been rough up here, but that's summer, baby. It shouldn't be that hot, but that's summer now, I guess.
I was also stuck on the tarmac for about 2 hours before leaving LaGuardia yesterday, and boy, let me tell you, when they shut down those engines, they also shut down most of the air conditioning.
Oh, no. Are you kidding?
I was a sweaty mess by the time we took off, and I was just sitting in a chair. It was awful.
Get money from them. My God. You're like, hey, you left us. Okay, good. Okay. Just making sure.
Wouldn't have been so bad had it been 20 degrees cooler, but it was probably about mid 80s in the cabin.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's like class action lawsuit that. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? I would have been suing them right away. I've never sued anybody. I wouldn't be suing anybody, but
I always tell everybody you're very litigious.
Yes, you know me. I'm just constantly suing people. It's really my passion in life. I got into games as a fast track to suing people.
You sued at least 5 professional skateboarders at the Tony Hawk event that we went to.
Yeah. I served Tony Hawk a summons. I went up to him and I was like, "Hey, Tony, really nice to meet you." And when he shook my hand, I slipped a paper in and I was like, "See you in court." You owe me $20.
Well, we are going to jump into this ranking that we are both very excited for. But before we do that, I want to plug that if you listened to last week's episode and are interested in Borderlands 4, you can read all kinds of exclusive coverage over on GameInformer.com. And also, as you know, this show is brought to you by the wonderful folks over on the Patreon page. Without their support, I could not continue doing All Things Nintendo. If you want to join, you can come in as low as $3 a month, and you will get access to the community Discord, where if you are listening to this episode early enough, we are holding the very first All Things Nintendo Community Night. It's going to be Friday evening of this week, June 27th. We are going to be playing Mario Kart World. Maybe we game chat, maybe we do some knockout tour. Who knows where the night will take us? But in order to get access to that, you will need to join the community Discord, because that is where I'm going to be sharing the room code and coordinating with everybody that wants to take part. There are also $5 and $10 tiers that get you access to that Discord, but also perks like early and ad-free episodes and shout-outs at the end of the show. And all tiers get you priority access to Q&A episodes. So head to Patreon and search All Things Nintendo or patreon.com/Brian Shea Podcasts. All right, Gio. Let's get into this. Plugs aside, if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, you will see that I have a visual tier list with all of the Nintendo franchises listed out that we are going to be ranking, and we are going to be putting them into this tier list based on how survivable or not each franchise's universe would be if Gio and I were hanging out and blacked out for whatever reason, one reason or another, we lose our consciousness, and when we wake up, we find ourselves in this universe. How quickly do we die, or how long do we survive, or do we make a good life for ourselves? Who knows?
Really important question, I think, to ask off the bat. Sorry, just to define the rules here. Are we waking up in these universes as characters that would be in the universe, or are we waking up as us full humans in these universes? Like, am I waking up in the Pikmin universe as a giant man or as Captain Olimar?
You are yourself.
Okay. Full scale?
Full scale.
Okay, cool. That's really important to know. That's huge. That makes a really big difference.
I
Okay.
mean, most of them, it's not going to make that big of a difference. For Pikmin, I could see why it would.
It might make a big deal for Pikmin, and I don't know Mario. We'll see. We don't know how tall Mario. Well, we do. We'll get to that. We'll get to it.
We will get to all the
Get
nitty
into
gritty
this.
details. But Gio, if I see you have a pen there. Do you have a piece of
Yes,
paper?
I
I'm
got
going to
it.
tell you the 5 tiers in which we are
Okay,
going to be ranking these games.
of
So
the
the top
kingdom.
tier is better than current reality.
Okay, that could be anything at this point, but cool.
uh, Number 2, less than ideal but could survive.
Less than ideal. Okay.
Number 3, struggle to survive. Number
Okay.
4, fighting for our lives.
Okay.
And number 5, coffin emoji.
Good. Coffin emoji is that's evocative, and I like that a lot. Okay.
I have a feeling I know which one is going to be the fullest, but any
Well,
questions before we start?
we'll see. We'll see. I think how many franchises are we going through here?
Oh man, I think we have something like 26. Let's
Beautiful.
see.
We
2,
got
4,
this.
6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Yeah, wow, that was a good estimate by
Yeah,
me.
wow, that was you eyeballed that. Oh my god.
uh,
Okay. I
so
feel good about this. I feel like we could live in a couple of them.
we
So,
could.
yeah.
But let's start with one that is pretty straightforward here. Advance Wars.
I mean, okay. The thing about Advance Wars is it's like not that different from the world we live in now. Like it's just wars, but you have a sense that there's other stuff happening out there, right? Like it's not just wars, and it's not a dystopia, right? It's just there's wars happening in the world, right? Or is there a dystopia element that I don't remember in those games?
I mean, here's the thing though. Are we so sure there is stuff going on elsewhere, or are we just
That's a
is
good
where
point.
we are going to be in the midst of this war? Like, is this a world war that like it's on every front, or like
That's a very fair point. Yeah. That's such a tricky one because like the threat is so like uh human and tangible, right? It's not like, oh, there's a big monster that's gonna gobble you up. It's like, yeah, you're gonna get shot when you're in a tank. And like that stinks and is very much not survivable in some ways, but also like very survivable because people do it, right? In
yeah.
so like, I mean, if I was ranking this one, that would be a great one for like either less than ideal but survivable, or struggle to survive, because I would certainly struggle to survive in war and in advanced war specifically. But how do you feel there?
Yeah, I was kind of leaning on struggle to survive or fighting for our lives because you literally would be fighting for your life in
That
war.
you would. I just I think when we get into some of these other franchises where it's a little bit more like, yeah, like you're fighting giant dinosaurs. Like I feel like I'm maybe a little bit more scared of that, and I don't want to start us like
That's
all
true.
the way down at the bottom with something that I think is ultimately like a real thing. So and for the scenario, are we saying that we are in the
Oh
conflicts that
man.
are happening in these games? I think that's important to establish.
We are in the world. So we
Okay.
wake up. I would imagine that for this, we wake up in an area where it is happening, but we are not necessarily fighting anybody. So
Got it.
maybe we're like, some of like the hostages that have to be rescued or
Okay.
whatever. I don't know.
I would compromise on struggle to survive for
Yeah,
this one. I think that's a
I'm
really
with you.
good middle of the road there.
Let's put that there. I mean, it's
Okay.
war is right in the title there.
Yeah, it's certainly not going to be easy, but I think it's doable depending on how persistent the war is.
Yes.
Nintendo doesn't make many of these. There can't be many wars in the world, right? They couldn't come up with ideas for more wars.
All right. So I think that this is going to be maybe the easiest one
Okay.
of the entire ranking. Animal Crossing.
Okay, so we're going alphabetical. Yeah, I mean
Somewhat. There are some outliers here.
Animal Crossing, I mean obviously I think is better than current reality. I think we
I
can
would
all
say
agree
so
on that.
too.
If we want to get really kind of like cynicky about it, right? Which I think is fair. We could be like, well, I mean, you're in debt to Tom Nook, and he's a horrible landlord, and all this stuff. But like, that's not different than real life.
And you don't have to pay interest.
Yeah, exactly. That's really important.
If you take out a
And
mortgage on a house, you are paying a lot more money than what you took out.
yeah, and like KK Slider isn't a thing in real life, and that's better, right? My life would be better if I could go see the singing dog play the guitar every Saturday. Like that sounds great. It's like community, sense of community, and togetherness, and everyone's building museums together. They respect the arts. In the world of Animal Crossing, that's beautiful. Certainly some financial questions that pop up there, but I think it's certainly more livable than current reality. I think that's a slam dunk.
Yeah. And you have friends visiting you all the time. Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
especially if it's like New Horizons, you're just hanging out on an island. Like, there's a beach
Yes.
right next to your house. You're able to just spend your entire day going around collecting bugs and creatures and stuff.
Yeah. The only real danger is like bees, and I got stung by a lot of bees when I was a kid once. It sucked, but that's it's not worse in the world of Animal Crossing, and you can heal that up real quick with some medicine. That's great. Yeah, I mean this is a no brainer, and I think this is like our good baseline for what does a better world look like in a Nintendo game. And I don't feel like there's going to be a lot in this tier, but Animal Crossing definitely for sure.
I think there's going to be a few in this tier,
Okay.
honestly.
I'm
Uh,
I can't see any of the stuff that you have right now. For listeners on the podcast, I can't see this list. I'm surprised by this, so I'm curious to hear what that means because I'm trying to think of other Nintendo franchises that don't have conflict, and I guess they're out there. So yeah, okay, maybe we'll see. Okay.
uh, Chibi Robo is the next one.
What? I mean, what? It's just like electricity, right? Are there like villains in Chibi Robo?
I mean, he's kind of like running around the world, but you're a full size human and he is like cleaning your house. So I think it's honestly, I think it's
Yeah,
better than current reality because you have a little robot that does some of your chores.
that's yeah. I mean, my
And he's
instinct
not
here
like
is to
nobody's
see
trying to
that.
kill the humans. And like
Yeah,
we're talking survivability.
yeah, survivability. It seems like you would survive no problem, and like it seems better than ideal because yeah, you have someone doing the work for you. I just don't know enough about like the lore and conflict of the Chibi Robo universe. Like, is this one of those Kirby games where it's like, oh, it's so cute, and then it's like, actually, there is the electro like slave dimension that Chibi Robo lives in, and you're like, what? Wait, what? Like, there's no secret conflict before we lock this in, right?
All right. So, all
What
right.
happens in Chibi Robo Ziplash for the Nintendo 3DS? Like, are they like killing people in that game?
Okay. So I'm on the Wikipedia page says, while the primary purpose of a Chibi Robo is to assist humans, they have also been shown to assist animals, sentient alien life, and even
Okay,
living toys. So there's sentient alien life and living
okay.
toys, if nothing else.
Is the sentient alien life? I mean, that's not great unless they're friendly.
I mean, let's be real. There's sentient alien life in our
You're
world. We just haven't seen it yet. It would
that's
be absurd if there was not
you're right.
somewhere
You're
else
right.
in
You're
the
right.
universe.
I'm probably overthinking this, and it probably is better than current reality.
That's what I'm thinking too. I mean,
Yeah.
I am not the biggest Chibi Robo person, but like,
If I had known, I would have studied.
let's see the plot. Wait, plot of okay. Chibi Robo appears in a ventilation system within a museum with a. It does not appear as though there is any danger to humanity. It does not.
Okay.
I don't think so anyway. So I'm gonna put
Okay.
better than current reality.
I'm with you on this. I think that sounds delightful.
Okay, so you wake up in the Chibi Robo universe, the Chibi Robo expanded universe, the CREU, and I think it's better than current reality, not
Yep.
only from a survivability perspective, but from a luxury perspective, because you have a robot doing your chores for you
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I
and
almost
helping
feel like
your
there's
animals.
Yeah, yeah. I almost feel like there should be a tier here in between that's sort of like, like pretty much the same, but I think this works. I think this is better than reality. You're right. You're getting helped by a robot. That's great.
All right, let's stop messing around here.
Okay.
Donkey Kong.
Uh, ooh. That's a really hard one because like the world of Donkey Kong, no, it is dangerous. I was going to say like it's not exactly dangerous. It's just like there's a lot of animals in it, but a lot of animals that could definitely kill me, right?
Yes.
Like easily. Like Donkey Kong himself, if he wasn't benevolent, could slaughter me,
He
like,
wasn't
very,
benevolent.
very, very simply. Uh,
I've never thought of Donkey Kong as a benevolent gorilla,
he
but he
shows a lot of
is.
restraint, like, he could kill anybody. I mean, he kidnapped somebody the one time, but he learned from that. Um, so, yeah, this is a weird one because, like, I feel like it's not again, it's not a dystopia. Well, is it?
No,
Right?
I think it's just he lives in the jungle within the Mario universe.
Right. And King K rules there, and there's like economic struggle over the price of bananas or whatever the plots of Donkey Kong games
It
are.
seems like the worst thing that happens, aside from like, it seems like the worst thing that happens is the bananas get stolen, and then
Yes,
the only conflict is that they're trying to stop him from taking back the bananas.
that's true. I think conflict wise, yes. The things that I worry about in this world are one, it's like built of falling platforms or whatever, like
Unfinished
this.
minecart rails.
Yeah, like OSHA violations left and right, right? Like, what does working in the world of Donkey Kong look like if you're like a miner there? And like, also, you might get gored by a rhino because they're just in boxes. You could just be like walking by a box and then a rhino busts out and gores you, and that's not good.
It's never really clicked with me that the rhinos are are those like poachers or animal traffickers?
I think so, right?
Huh.
Yeah. This is a weird one because I'm somewhere between like struggle to survive and like maybe it's actually just less than ideal but survivable.
I'm mm,
Are
I
you
think it
lower?
depends on if you align with Donkey Kong or King K. Rool. Because
That's
if you align with Donkey Kong, you're gonna have to help him in this mission. If you align with King K. Rool, you can sit on a pirate ship and just like hang out,
that's
probably.
true.
But
But
then
then
Donkey
if
Kong's gonna
Donkey
come and
Kong
rip your arms
finds you,
off.
yeah, he will ground pound you until you're flat and you will be dead. Uh,
I think there's
yeah,
also a lot of really dangerous animals, like the ostrich and
yeah,
like the swordfish. I could feel like I could hang out with them, but like Rambi is going to gore you,
yes,
whether on purpose or accidentally.
yeah,
And King K. Rool, if you're not on his team, he's gonna throw his little crown at you and then like probably like body slam you.
yeah. And
Oh
also,
man.
like, bananas are good, but eating a lot of them has to have a negative health effect, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, is there
Like,
other food in the Donkey
you
Kong
have too much
universe?
potassium, like it seems like that's all there is. And if there's like a famine of bananas because King K. Rool has stolen them, do you die? Like, what does the world look like beyond bananas? Um, I don't know. Where are you landing with this?
I'm gonna say struggle to survive because there's
I'm
a
in.
lot
Yeah.
of really dangerous creatures. It does seem like outside of stealing bananas, they do mind their own business though.
Yeah.
But the Kremlins, the what are they were called claptraps, right? Before
Yeah, they're
Borderlands existed. The
yes,
little
yeah,
like the
yeah, you're kind of like living in the jungle in this world, right? And like I don't think I could necessarily I think I'd have trouble. You could do it, but yeah, I think struggle to survive is smart here.
okay. And if you align with Donkey Kong, you do have a lot of animal friends. Like
Yes.
maybe Rambi would not trample you or gore you with his
Yeah.
horn.
Don't steal the bananas and you won't get punched in the head so hard that it goes flying off your body, I guess. That's it.
All right, we're going to go to a completely dormant franchise now.
Okay.
Earthbound slash Mother.
Oh, fascinating. Huh.
There's
Um,
aliens, there's a lot of combat in this, but is it
there
really
are
that dangerous to just exist?
I don't think so. I mean, like the point of Earthbound, right, is that it's like very kind of like mundane and suburban, right? This is sort of like your 80s like ET world, right? Where it's kind of like, yeah, like there are weird, fantastical things happening, but you're still like at home and it's a regular town. There's some weirdos in the town, and if you walk off into the Gigas dimension, whatever the villain of that name is, like, that might be bad. Um, but I think, yeah, it's fairly survivable, other than like the wider conflict happening there. This one to me, right off the bat, feels like a tier 2, less than ideal but survivable situation.
I agree 100%. As soon as I said it and started thinking about it, I slotted it in there in my mind. So that's where we're going
Yeah,
to put it up there.
yeah, I think that's an easy one, and I would love to live in that world. In some ways, probably is better than current reality if I was like being cynical about it. But I don't know. I think I think there's a part of that game where they all like become robots and almost die. So that's like not good.
No, but it does take place in the 80s or 90s, so probably
Yeah.
better than current reality
Yeah, yeah. We'll put it
in
tier
some
2, but I think
regards. In some regards.
we just have to fill all these tiers with something. We can't put everything. Yeah. And better than reality. In some way all of these things are better than reality. Again, I will stress that.
All right, we're gonna go to Fire Emblem next.
Ooh. Ooh,
This one
talk okay.
feels like it could be a struggle to survive just because constant wars going on, and also doesn't seem to be any safeguards against teachers having relationships with their students.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I might even one up you and say fighting for our lives in this one because I mean, quite like with Advance Wars, again, like there's a lot of war, there's a lot of infrastructure, but it seems like there's a lot of rules to like how the wars are set up. In this one, like 15-year-olds can go to war, which like in our reality we have laws against in the Geneva Conventions. I don't think they have Geneva Conventions in the world of Fire Emblem, and it worries me a lot as to like how would you survive in the fact that this world is constant wars and dragons. Like I think there were dragons sometimes in
And
this world.
transformations, and like you'll just be like attending school, and then suddenly there's a dude with a horse and a lance that's like attacking you, and it's like, what? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
also, like, part of your curriculum of going to school in this world is, like, we are putting you in mortal danger as a test, Like, that seems bad. It seems like people even that are friends kill each other in this world, Like, the Three Houses universe is sort of like, "Oh, it's our bud. Oh, we went to school together. I am gonna cut your head off with an axe." So it seems a little merciless in that regard. And yeah, like, the conflict doesn't ever seem to end. So it is similar to me in the Advance Wars way, but it kind of feels like Advance Wars at least has like rules of engagement, and I don't think that the world of Fire Emblem has rules of engagement from what I've seen.
so here's the interesting twist here.
Okay.
I don't know if this is the only game on this list that has permadeath.
This is a really good
So wait,
point.
this is an interesting fold here, because if like Donkey Kong, we might be able to bump that up to better than current reality because you can get extra lives. So if you perish, you can actually respawn. That's not something that can happen in real
That's
life.
that's a really good point. Yeah,
So
yeah, that's a
every
really
other game is actually now up and better than current better than current reality.
yeah, I think yeah, but we're still human, so maybe we still are going by the rules of human death in this. I don't know. I feel like we have to abide by some human rules. I feel like personally I would fight for my life in the Fire Emblem universe just cuz like they wouldn't look at me and go like okay, like here's what I would think. Again, going back to the rules of engagement thing, and I'm sorry to get on this. If I was in Advance Wars, I think they would look at me and go like, "You are not capable of driving a tank, and we are not going to put you in one." And I would say, "Thank you so much." If I was in Fire Emblem and they like looked at me and they were like, "You have spaghetti limbs and your wrists are tiny," they'd be like, "I don't care. Here's a broadsword. Good luck. You're
To the front
expendable."
lines.
Yeah, you're out there, and also the person you're standing next to is now your wife. And I'd be like, I didn't ask for this, and they'd be like, "That's how bonding works in this world." I'd be fighting for my life in this world.
Yeah, I put it in fighting for our lives because
Good.
I agree. And
Okay.
also the protagonist of Engage reminds me of Colgate toothpaste because of his hair. That's the only other reason.
Yeah, that's a really good reason.
Uh F-Zero, a franchise that itself has not survived really.
Yeah, maybe it's coffin emoji because of that. Um, if I recall correctly, F Zero is sort of like a pretty cutthroat world, right? Like the sport of F Zero is very dangerous, but even
Mhm.
beyond that, it feels like it's a very kind of like black market, shady sci-fi world where this whole event is happening. Um, I don't necessarily think that everything is that. I think that's maybe just one facet of the world, but I don't know that it's dystopian.
Yeah, I there's I mean, what F-Zero lore is there to go off of in the past 20 years? But like I feel like if they put me in a race, it's
Yes.
coffin emoji. If
Yes.
if I just have to exist in this world, I mean, how much do the people in the stands struggle to survive? That's my question, because there are
That yeah.
spectators.
Yeah, like this seems to be a sport in the world, and it like is a dangerous sport, and it makes you think that like, hey, if people are just like dying on the track at the spectator sport, that's probably like a bad sign for where society is. But it seems like you could survive outside of that. It seems like we're just in a normal kind of like neo noir future kind of thing, right? I don't know, maybe not neo
Yeah.
noir, but something like that, right?
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Rich merchants from cities in the clouds or asteroids with almost uninhabitable environments invested their wealth in the construction of racing circuits. Some cities have multiple circuits. I'm just trying to make sure there are geographical differences from game to game, but distinct locations recur. I'm not
okay,
seeing
that's
anything.
important.
I'm not. Okay, wait. Plot. There are originally four pilots in F Zero. The winner of the Grand Prix. Derived from 21st century or 20th and 21st century F1 races.
Okay.
Futuristic Earth in the 26th century, although some games take place much earlier. Okay, so human race's countless encounters with alien life forms throughout the universe greatly expanded Earth's social framework, resulting in trade, technology transfer, and cultural interchange are carried out on an interplanetary basis. An association of wealthy space merchants created the F-Zero Grand Prix in an attempt to add some excitement to their opulent lifestyles.
Oh, that's Squid Games. Okay, we're absolutely coughing emoji in
Oh,
this
yes.
world.
Oh,
If
wait.
that's the
Due to the various wait. When the races were first held, people were angered at the brutality of the competition due to the various obstacles and traps along the raceway. As time passed, however, they became accustomed to these dangers and even began to demand more excitement and danger in the races.
Oh, this is real dystopian, actually. Like, rich people have turned it into a blood sport.
F-Zero X's storyline starts after the 7-year suspension of Grand Prix races due to, in all caps, horrific grand finale. The game explains the horrific grand finale was a violent and fiery accident that burnt 14 drivers to death, including Sterling Levon during the old days of the F-Zero. A racer named Super Arrow escaped unscathed as the only survivor. The crash ushered in the establishment of the F-Zero Racing Academy after a speech by Super Arrow to the Federation Congress,
This
which
is
helped lift the ban. The fictional competition was brought back with the rules and regulations revised. What?
that changes a lot, buddy. That whole thing changes a lot of my views about this.
Yeah, I think that's the extent of the lore. I'm going to say if we are forced to race, I'm saying coffin emoji now.
Yeah, here's the thing.
It's like pod racing, but more dangerous.
If we're in a world in which like the rich have this power unrestricted to make death race, like obviously it's the worst possible scenario. And I mean, like, again, the cynic in me can argue that's what life is kind of now, but like obviously this is kind of that blown out to a bigger level. There's no way. Like there's no way this is the only way that rich people are killing you in this world, right? Like they are killing you every day outside of the F-Zero race, no question.
And I like that the horrific grand finale is a proper noun where all but one of the drivers, of the most prominent drivers in the race, were burnt alive.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no hope for any of us here. Wow, thank you, because I was about to be like, yeah, it's fine. I don't know.
It's coffin emoji.
Yeah,
First
it's
coffin
coffin emoji.
emoji is F-Zero. Did not see that coming.
Maybe this is why they don't make these games anymore.
The next one, a little bit less horrific, I would imagine. Mario Kart.
But I mean, a little bit. Like, okay. We know a lot about the world of Mario Kart now because of Mario Kart World. We know a lot about this world that we didn't know, I think, when it was just races, right? So this is great timing. Obviously not like the most dangerous of the Nintendo franchises, and probably is going to be a higher tier one here. But like, there's still bomb cars on the road, and like
Yes.
not on the tracks, just like on the highway. There's just like there's a bomb, a lit bomb on the road, and that's not good. All of these races are just going through traffic normally, and like you are just throwing blue shells that are like catching stray passengers, right? I think like before Mario Kart World, I would say that this is like probably better than current reality. You know, it's just like a fun thing. But I do think being a bystander in this world, now that we know what happens like beyond the races, seems a little more dangerous. And I kind of want to put this down to survivable, like less than ideal, but survivable. But how do you feel? Do you feel that it's all playful? You know, it's
Yeah, I mean,
fine.
here's the question I'd pose to you.
Yeah,
If you get hit by a blue shell, you know, it kind of creates like a giant like explosion radius. Do we survive that the same way that Mario just kind of tumbles into the air and falls to the ground and keeps driving?
that's a really good question, right? Because like I don't necessarily think that getting hit by a green shell would kill me, right?
No, it would spin you
Um,
out. That's fair. Driving on a banana peel, that's fine. Like you'd spin
yeah,
out maybe. We might if we have like a human car, we're just driving right over that thing. We're not even spinning out.
right. That's
But
true.
a
But if
blue
I get
shell is an explosive device.
yeah, it's an explosive. There are bombs. Like, don't forget, there are just straight up lit bombs in the world that you throw at people. Fire, ice balls. You get
Bullet
flattened.
bills.
Yeah, yeah, there are bullets. People are shooting stray bullets on the street in this world. I mean, it is kind of dangerous. And again, if it was just in the tracks and it's like, well, that's just the race, cool. But I do think that if I got hit by a giant speeding bullet, I probably would die. And if I was just on the highway on a bridge, as happens in that game, and someone flattened me in their giant mushroom car, I would probably die then too. Um,
I'm
so
almost leaning
yeah,
struggle to survive.
yeah, I kind of am too. It seems actually very dangerous in the new structure of Mario Kart.
Yes, let's put it there. Struggle to
Okay.
survive alongside Advance Wars and Donkey Kong.
Okay, cool.
This is the most ridiculous thing we've ever done on this
I really
podcast.
like I really like this premise a lot. Thank you for doing this.
Uh, Metroid. I think
Oh,
we might have a pretty easy answer on this one.
yeah, I think that's coffin emoji maybe. Um
I'm pretty certain it's coffin emoji.
let's yeah, we don't need to talk about this that much. For people that don't know much about Metroid lore, like literally like environmental plagues of invasive species constantly destroying the universe. Is Are they destroying the entire universe? No, not necessarily, but there's like at least 4 plagues of world-ending species that Samus has to destroy in this world. Yeah, that's I'm dead. No way.
Yeah, if you, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to say for the sake of this, it's not like you're waking up on Earth in the
Right.
Metroid universe. You are waking up in relative proximity to the events that are depicted in the game. That's how I'll say it. There are space pirates. There's
Yes.
Metroid that'll latch onto you and suck out
Steal
your
your
will
energy.
to live.
Yeah.
Uh, Not to mention other bounty hunters that will track you down.
Yeah, this is a very dangerous world, and I think this is like as close as Nintendo really gets to a dystopia in its games, other than I guess F-Zero, which is the darkest thing I've ever heard in my life. But yeah, I think this would be a death situation immediately.
Agreed. Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty easy coffin emoji tier.
yeah.
Uh, Next up, we've got a weird one. It is the one we referenced earlier, Pikmin.
I mean, I think
Isn't
this is easy.
okay? Do you think it's better than ideal or better than current reality, or do you? Because isn't this a post-apocalyptic setting where like humanity is basically gone and like
Oh, is
you're
it?
because you're finding artifact like you can find like a Game Boy Advance and you can find like it's like things have happened and it seems like I mean I don't think they ever explicitly say it,
But is
but I,
that like people are gone, or is that just oh those are items you're like in the yard and there's a Game Boy that somebody dropped behind? Like, do we have explicit confirmation? Because that makes a big difference. If humans have been wiped out from this world and this has been taken over, different. If it's just like there's a bunch of small guys, like doesn't seem like that big of a deal, except that maybe some of the like bulb orbs, which are a little bit bigger than insects, would kind of just suck to deal with. I don't know, but it really does hinge on whether or not this is a secret humanity is gone situation.
but even if it is, say we arrive there, I don't think that means that we're necessarily going to be wiped out unless
Yes.
like there is some disease lingering in the air. I don't know. I think that it's less than ideal but could survive. That's where I'm kind of hanging.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think really anything that you would deal with, again, because of the fact that like everyone's tiny. Like we're when we're looking at the like things that are big dangers in this world, they're like the size of a beetle, right? At worst.
Hmm.
So maybe like one of those like weird tube mouth guys comes into your house and shoots like a little bit of fire, and that's like dangerous. So I think that's where you kind of get into the like less than ideal situation. But yeah, like I think most of the problems in this world you could step on, and it's probably fine.
And then you get a free Game Boy Advance.
That's true. Yeah, that's a perk. Yeah, I think less than ideal, but survivable for sure.
Let's do it. So Pikmin joins Earthbound in the less than ideal but could survive.
That feels right. That feels right to me.
All right. How do you feel? I think we're going to be in pretty easy agreement on this one. Nintendogs.
I, yeah, I think that's better than current reality, right?
Absolutely. You just get a
Yeah.
different dog every day if you want to. Just your entire life revolves around hanging out with a fluffy puppy.
Yeah. They
Like,
don't die.
they don't
That's great.
die.
That's already better than reality.
Yes.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, easy.
I don't think there's
Nintendog's great.
any risk whatsoever. The worst thing is you throw the ball and the dog doesn't go get it, but I've never even seen that happen.
Yeah, yeah, they always get it. And that's what's beautiful about the world of Nintendogs. Yeah, this is a no-brainer.
And from a very lighthearted one to Famicom Detective Club.
Um Okay, I don't know what really happens in the first two Famicom Detective Club games, like the original one. So that's a little hard here. I did play Emio the Smiling Man, which is explicitly about a serial
Serial
killer
killer.
that kills children. Um,
Oof.
what I will say though about that game is that it is very grounded. Like there is a serial killer who kills children, but like it's number one, it's more complicated than that. If you haven't played Emio, that premise, the mystery there is a lot more complicated than it's just a serial killer, right? There's more nuance to it than that. It seems like a world with like a lot of crime in it and like stuff that borders on maybe supernatural crime, but maybe isn't. Maybe it's explainable through basic reality. But it's certainly a world where there's danger. I don't think it's better than reality for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the less than ideal but could survive.
I think so, because like you just talk to normal people who run like businesses in that game, and they're like, "Oh, somebody died. Well, that's a bummer. I sell cars," and you're like, "Okay, cool. It seems like everything's fine." Yeah, like I don't think I would put the possibility of getting killed by Emio the Smiling Man in the same tier as Nintendogs. So I think tier 2 makes sense here.
All right, let's put it up there with Earthbound and Pikmin.
Yeah,
The weirdest tier of this
I
list, I
love it.
think. Kirby.
Oh my god. I was
I
I
feel
was dreading this.
I feel like Kirby has a lot of things that would kill you.
Kirby has, as your listeners I'm sure know and are saying right now from behind their headphones, Kirby has the most deranged lore of any Nintendo franchise. I guess maybe save for F-Zero now. But like when you get into the actual lore of Kirby, it's like, oh yeah, there's like world-eating gods or whatever happens in the Kirby universe. It is like a gentle world that is incredibly dangerous, deeply, deeply dangerous.
It
Um,
betrays its very cutesy and like warm aesthetic.
yes, the like my instinct is actually coffin emoji, but the only thing that I would maybe like that would bump it up for me is the fact that like Kirby is very dependable and saves the day a lot. So hopefully he's got it under control, right? And like we might die, but like hopefully Kirby fixes whatever. Like Kirby waddles in as a vending machine when someone's about to kill you with a sword, and it goes like, "Don't worry," and shoots a beer can or whatever he dispenses at Meta Knight, right? And he's like, "Okay, don't worry about it. You're good now." And you're like, "Oh, thank you." Right? You're in the woods and a tree starts trying to shoot apples at you, and Kirby comes in. And he's like, "Don't worry, I got this." And you're like, "Oh, thank you. I almost got killed by that tree."
That
from
tree
walking in the
that's
woods.
blowing wind back and forth.
Yeah.
Uh, could a human being survive being the victim of Mouthful Mode?
Oh.
Like if Kirby wanted to take the form of a human and control us
He
around.
never spits the stuff back out. So I
Oh
think
no.
I think you get digested and die. So you are at the mercy of Kirby in
Is
those
Kirby as
moments.
benevolent as Donkey Kong is the real question.
I think he well, he's I think so. I think so. I think Kirby shows more restraint. But if you had a power that he needed to do something, like if he was like,
Like if he
"Oh,
needed
I need to
crippling
become."
anxiety.
Yeah, yeah. If he was like, I can only defeat this enemy with depression, yeah, like he would have no second thought about it, right? If he was like, I need to write an essay about video game, I think we would both be dead. But I think for the most part, the two of us could probably survive, and I think it's about us, right?
Yes. Uh,
Uh, I
I'd
think
put
I'd
it.
still be fighting for my life, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I was either struggling to survive or fighting for our lives. Let's put it in fighting for our lives.
Okay. Yeah, I think if we were to do like a proper deep dive of the lore right now, we would be like, oh yeah, no chance we'd live. So I think that hedges our bets pretty well.
Also, Meta Knight would not hesitate to cut both of us in half with one slice.
Murder, just a
Yeah.
total murderer. Yeah,
This is kind of a weird one.
great.
Mario Party. So, like, look, on one hand, you're just getting together with your friends, you're playing like a real life board game. But then the mini games come up, and you're falling in lava, you're being attacked by ghosts, you're being caught on fire by Bowser, like you're
Yeah,
getting hit in the head with hammers.
yeah. Yeah. Like this is their idea of fun in this world, which is not a great sign for the rest of all the things they do for fun in the Mario universe suck. Like it's really like there's no Mario game where it's
Hey,
like
wait.
where
Go
oh,
karting is a lot of fun.
yeah, except for the fact that they're like, "Oh, it's go-karting with bombs." Like that sucks. Like, I don't know. They make every fun thing in the Mario universe dangerous, right? It's like tennis. You're like, "Oh, cool, we're going to play tennis." And they're like, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to shoot a rocket shot at your head." And you're like, "Oh, could we just play tennis?" And they're like, "No, absolutely not. It has to hurt you." And like this is a similar thing where like the world of Mario Party is kind of like, oh, this is a fun thing that we're doing, except for like the lava mini game where you die, you know? Like I do think that this is a Mario Kart thing that's a struggle to survive kind of situation. Like if this is what they do for fun in this world, like what is doing taxes look like? Like that sounds dangerous compared to this.
And also, you don't have to take part in the Mario Kart the same way you don't, or the Mario Party, the same way you don't have
That's
to
true.
take part in Advance Wars. Like, you're just nearby when it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you were put into that social situation, it would absolutely suck. But it maybe seems avoidable. But then again, aren't there like Mario Party games where the premise is like Bowser is forcing everyone to play Mario Party?
That is true. That's a
Yeah,
very good point, Geo.
I think struggle to survive for
Yeah,
sure.
let's put it there.
Yeah.
Here's one that I'm actually not super familiar with,
Okay.
but I think it could be kind of dangerous, and that is pilot wings.
Yeah, does Pilot Wings have story?
That's a good question.
Because
We're
you're just
looking this
flying
up on the
airplane,
fly.
right?
Let's see. Is there even a plot? It's a video game. Da 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 da. Yes, I know that.
Great, good.
Okay, Pilot is an amateur flight simulator in which the player attempts to earn pilot licenses through lessons in light plane flight, hang gliding, skydiving, and the use of a rocket belt. Oh, that's dangerous.
That is a little bit dangerous, but
Bonus stages and levels involving an attack helicopter are also available.
okay, not great.
There's not much in way of story on the
Yeah,
Wikipedia page. Let's see.
like
What,
this
what
is
about the first Pilot Wings? Is there a plot? No. It just seems like you're trying to get your pilot's license. If I'm
that's
forced to get
true.
my pilot license, it's coffin emoji. If I'm just on the ground watching, then I think that it's probably like better than current reality because watching somebody fly around is pretty cool.
Yeah, like Nathan Fielder got his pilot's license, so I don't really think this is much of a danger. Like I think you could get that in this world. I think that's fine.
So we want to do less than ideal but could survive or better than current reality?
I think like it's the thing is it's not better than current reality, but it's not negative either. Like so I think maybe better than current reality because I think you're right. Like it seems like it's really easy to get a pilot's license in this world at least. So like
Oh,
that's
that's a good
better.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's like a Nintendogs kind of thing. That's like cozy. I'm down with that.
All right. We only have not too many left here. I think we're about
Okay.
11 remaining. Splatoon,
Wow.
because that's
Ooh.
a post-apocalypse.
Yeah. And we're not squids, so we can't navigate the ink. That's like the crucial thing
Correct. We
here.
would be like slipping, falling over constantly because people are just leaving slippery ink all over the ground.
Here's the thing. Yeah, I think like if we were squid kids, this would be more of a like struggle to survive thing maybe. But I do think that like I think humans have been wiped out in this world because of the like I think this is like a pollution has destroyed the planet game, is it not?
Basically, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
The good news is we would be eating good though, because
Oh,
calamari abounds in the Splatoon
ugh.
universe.
Yeah, but then, like, are you killing the squid kids, or is the calamari separate? Are there
No, no,
regular squid?
you would be eating the squid kids.
Okay, okay, cool. Yeah, you'd
Inkling
be
calamari everywhere, all day, every day. Just the way you eat bananas constantly in the Donkey Kong universe, you're eating squid constantly because, I mean, I guess they sell stuff at like the stores, and
yeah.
there's like people who like their job if you go around Inkopolis Plaza is like, hey, like I have a grill that you can eat at. I don't know what they're cooking, but like there's a lot of good seafood to be had, so that's one
Y
plus.
yeah, so I definitely think this is a coffin emoji situation. Like, again, it has wiped out humanity already,
Hmm.
1. If you are still alive and dropped into this world, you're in Poison World now. Um, and you're not just in Poison World, but, like, the inhabitants of this world are, like, not trying to clean like, it's not Mario Sunshine. You are shooting the poison actively in this world, right? Like, ink can't be good for you as a human, I don't think. And they're like inking this place up everywhere they go because that's how they travel. This feels like a world that has evolved past humans. And if you tried to come into it, you would die. It's also like, I think at the end of Splatoon 2, the community had the choice to choose between order or chaos, and they chose chaos. And that's what led to like the real dystopian like world being destroyed in Splatoon 3. So I think there's like a double dystopia in this universe. And I think we are dead. And there's a survival game coming out in the series, which implies to me that like it's even more dangerous than we know about. This is coffin emoji to me personally.
Yeah. I was on Fighting for Our Lives originally because there's also a lot of really dangerous like creatures. If you played the single player campaign, like
Yeah.
there's some bad stuff out there in the world of Splatoon, but like now when you frame it that way, I do think it's coffin emoji. Uh
Yes.
yeah, that's yeah, I don't expect to survive that for too long, and they cover you with ink. Like that's got to suck too. Like you're just like, man, I just got this shirt. Now I got to wash it and hope it comes
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Agreed. I think this is a struggle.
Well, it's more
Oh,
than a
sorry,
struggle because it's
coffin.
coffin emoji.
Coffin emoji. Yes. Yeah.
Uh, Another one that I think is going to be quite dangerous: Star Fox.
Oh, but that's it's bad out there.
It's
That's
just
war.
war constantly,
Yeah.
and you got a giant monkey with floating hands, like trying to conquer the galaxy. You've got aliens that like can Independence Day you at any moment.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of bad stuff, and again, you're not necessarily involved in the events, but you are taking part. You're in the relative proximity, and if you're in the Lilat system, you're just basically a person who is held captive by war.
Yeah, I think this is a Metroid situation where it's like, sure, if you were in the universe, maybe you could survive something, but like, yeah, you're getting like destroyed every day, presumably by like the constant warfare that is happening, and warfare that seems much again like no rules of engagement kind of thing, right? Like whereas Advance
You're
Wars,
blowing up cities, like
yeah,
trains are
it's
crashing into buildings and exploding. Like,
yeah, this is like there's no peace in this universe. Everywhere you go, it's hell, and like there is asteroid belt like destruction happening. Yeah, I would say this is probably a coffin emoji. I don't think I could live through the Star Fox universe for sure.
yeah, and I mean, I'd like to hang out with like Peppy. I think Peppy would be cool
Oh
to
yeah,
like chill with and like hear sage words of wisdom. But like, eventually, he's gonna get that call from Rob, and he's gonna be like, and Fox is gonna be like, "It's time for us to go now." And then it's like, "Great, now what am I gonna do? I'm stuck here by myself. Andros is attacking Corneria. General
yeah,
Pepper is just like rambling on about God knows what."
yeah. And I'd rather die than have to be in a world with Slippy Toad. Like so, like I'm out.
A fun fact about me is when I was a kid, I had a pet frog and I named him Slippy.
Oh, that's cute. That is cute. That's
Uh,
cuter than actual Slippy Toad.
uh, Next up, we have the Street Pass Me Plaza.
Why is that on this list?
Why
Is that a
not?
franchise? It's one thing.
I think it's better than current reality. That's
Yeah,
why.
it's utopia. It's absolutely a utopia. Yeah, no, it's better than current reality. I will say that, like, if we really wanted to get like whatever about it, there's all like those mini games that's like,
Oh yeah,
oh, you do a dungeon crawl and there's monsters and whatnot, and there's like a stock market mini game, and that seems like
forgot about
not
that.
not great, but like. I think Street Pass is the closest thing that society has had to like a utopia, right?
I mean, there's another one on this list that we've not gotten to yet that might be up there with it.
Okay, I
But yeah, I'd co-sign putting it in better than current reality. But there is that dungeon mini game.
the dungeon minigame does definitely like worry me a little bit about that world, but I think the benefits of like you're just hanging out and like doing puzzles with your
Oh, the
friends,
puzzle
like
mini game
oh
had its hooks in me so hard.
oh yeah, I wish people still brought their 3DSs around to Street Pass. I think that would be great. Yeah, to me this is a utopia. I would absolutely live in this world.
All right, better than current reality it is.
Yes.
Next up, Super Smash Brothers.
Yes. Super Smash Brothers is a weird one because the first Super Smash Brothers game, not dangerous at all. You're playing with your toys and that's it. And that sounds delightful. Then Sakurai lost it with the series and decided that Super Smash Brothers was a world in which a being of light snapped everyone out of existence, which I think would include us. So it puts us in a weird in between state because I don't think we would have to do the fights ourselves, but it seems like some of the wider conflict that has seeped into the world of Super Smash Brothers would maybe impact us, which worries me a little bit. This one for me is like a fighting for our lives, but how do you feel?
Yeah, fighting for our lives sounds about it because like those people didn't die. Like when
That's
Mario got, he just got turned into statues temporarily, and then Kirby rescued everybody. The same reason that like I didn't put Kirby in the coffin emoji tier. I put him in the fighting for our lives tier because Kirby is apparently the greatest hero in Nintendo history.
yes. I think that I feel the same way. Like having like I almost feel like Super Smash Brothers is an extension of the Kirby series in some way. So I almost feel like putting it right next to Kirby makes a lot of sense. I think as long as I'm not fighting, which it Super Smash Brothers isn't a blood sport. It's not like an F-Zero situation. So there's at least that. Definitely horrible things happening in this world that could impact you, but it doesn't seem like it's like the only thing happening in this world. So I think it's I mean any snapping out of existence thing is bad, but I think as long as it happens once, it's a fighting for our lives situation.
Agreed. And also on top of that, there is a multiverse angle now. It used to, like you said, it used to be
Mm,
like we're playing with our toys. That's what the master hand is supposed to represent. And now it's like a multiversal situation where Sonic and Solid Snake and all of them are coming together and yeah, getting
yeah.
snapped out of existence. I think fighting for our lives is a good home for Super Smash Brothers.
I think so too. It feels in a very kind of Kirby vein of like this is a deceptively kind of dangerous world, but maybe you could survive it because Kirby's there.
Just the only reason.
That's it.
All right, we'll put it in fighting for our lives. All right, Gio, it is time to get to Nintendo's flagship franchise, the Super Mario Brothers series. Kind of a complicated one because, again, looks like rainbows and sunshines on the surface, but a lot of deadly enemies, a giant maniacal dinosaur with some. Are they children? Are they like what are they? Koopalings? How are you feeling about Mario?
Yeah, this is a very complicated one because I agree. There's a lot of dangers in this world, and we've seen like Bowser's reign has some pretty bad outcomes. Right? There's that opening of Mario Galaxy where there's like a meteor storm that happens, like a full scale attack. That stuff is dangerous. And makes me think that like this certainly isn't tier one, right? This isn't a better world by any means. It may not even be survivable. I don't know, but the one caveat I'll say is that like Bowser's problem in this universe, which is 90% of the conflict, right, is the monarchy, right? He like wants to kidnap Princess Peach and that's it. And that is not my problem. And I think that it would be my problem ever in this universe. I just don't. If somebody kidnapped the president in our world, it really wouldn't affect my life on a day to day, except for the fact that, like, there would be a military response to it or something, right?
You'd suddenly be in Advance Wars.
I think this might be an Advance Wars situation, and I mean there is some danger, right? Like there's a bunch of enemies that are powerful, and Bowser's attacks on the wider Mushroom Kingdom would be a problem, and you'd be living in the Mushroom Kingdom, and that's a problem. And also, does Mario Kart exist in this universe? Is it its own universe? Do we bring all that baggage from those things? But I think all of the Mario franchises fall under like the kind of struggle to survive for me here, where it's like, yeah, there's a lot of conflict in this world. And it would be tough to deal with it, but like it's not impossible. Because again, as long as I'm not ruling the Mushroom Kingdom, it seems like I'm not. It's not really a big deal.
Yeah, I think I'm struggle to survive as well. Let's just slot
Okay.
it in there. It feels right.
Yes,
Uh, it seems like that is the spot to put it.
I like it. I like that.
All right, this is maybe the coziest outside of Animal Crossing, so I think
Okay.
we're gonna have a pretty easy time with this. Tomodachi Life.
Oh yeah, no, we don't even have to talk about this. It's Tomodachi life, right? You just live, right?
You're there, celebrity me's are swinging by. Like, I don't know about you, but I had like Shaquille O'Neal and Shigeru Miyamoto hanging out together. Like, it was the greatest scenario you could possibly have in life.
Yeah, this is absolutely better than reality. Isn't the new
Yes.
one like about them being on a beach and having fun? The one that's
Yeah.
coming out?
I think
Great.
it's like their version of Animal Crossing New Horizons. So yeah,
Beautiful.
let's
No
slot it in.
question.
Better than current reality. You're just hanging
100%.
with the homies.
That is a hanging with the homies game. That's like a Miitomo situation, if you remember Nintendo's failed social media app.
Yes. Oh my god. We should have put that on here.
I know.
Uh Next up kind of fits in with some other ones we've talked about, but the Yoshi series.
Oh, that's fascinating. Um, hmm. What like the conflicts so like Yoshi's one of those ones where like there is conflict in this world. I don't think it's like world eater conflict on like a Kirby level, right?
I don't remember the story, even though I love Yoshi's Woolly World and Yoshi's Crafted World. I do not remember the story whatsoever.
Yeah, I
But
don't
I
either.
mean, in Yoshi's Island, it's a baby Mario is stolen,
Yeah, and that's
or you're
fine.
trying to
I
get baby Mario there. I mean, like you're trying to like transport baby Mario, and
Yeah, like that's fine. I don't need to be part of that. Like that's Yoshi's problem entirely. Like I don't have kids.
there are
Um
some big creatures though that will pop up and cause you harm.
yeah, this to me feels like a really classic example of like less than ideal but survivable where it's like there's stuff I don't want to deal with in this world, right? There's like yarn. Like I don't want to be made of yarn. Like if that's a thing, that's inconvenient. Like a lot of inconveniences in this world, but I think it's like mostly pretty gentle. I don't think Kirby's deal or Yoshi is dealing with like again God in this world. Like I don't think God exists in the Yoshi
How
universe.
could he?
Yeah.
Yoshi exists.
Yeah, yeah. This is a godless world inhabited by Yoshis. There's no chance that he's here. Yeah, I think less than ideal, but survivable. Like again, there's just some stuff I don't want to deal with. Like the babies cry pretty loud. That stinks. Like I don't want to deal with that.
You might get a headache, but it's not going to kill you.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of minor inconveniences, definitely survivable. I think yeah, like this is similar to Famicom Detective Club in that yeah, like I could live there.
There's
There
some
just might be a serial killer.
Yeah, there's some bad stuff going on. Kamek is going on errands for Bowser. Bowser Jr. is running amok, but like
Yeah.
he's going to inconvenience you.
Yeah, it's like Evil Junior, you know? It's like this is like yeah, like they're doing mischief. And like mischief's not as big a deal as like we're kidnapping the government. Like I think it's fine.
All right. We got four left here, Gio, and
Okay,
then we
let's
can
do it.
wrap up the episode. The Legend of Zelda.
Oh man, that's an interesting one. These are all interesting ones. They really are. That one is so fascinating because like obviously there's constant evil. The concept of evil is constantly happening in this world, and that's not good. But you do get glimpses of people surviving and like living in villages and things being normal all the time in this world, even when like the calamity is happening, right?
Yeah, but like at the same time, I feel like those people are constantly impacted by what Ganon is
True.
up to. Like, or even the games without Ganon, like Majora's Mask. Everybody is dying constantly in that.
Yeah, also the moon is threatening to crash into the earth. There's just that little detail in that game. That is a problem, yeah.
But yeah, you're right. There are established villages. There are I'm kind of leaning fighting for our lives because there's bokoblins you have to be worried about, but like people are navigating their day-to-day lives.
Yeah, and I think this is another Kirby situation where, like, at the end of the day, the laws of this universe dictate that there will always be a new hero of time that is reborn to save the day. Like, it is baked into this universe that someone will fix this, like always. There's always conflict, and it's always very deadly conflict. But it does seem like people make it work in this world, time and time again, even in like the darkest moments of it. So yeah, I think it's a fighting for our lives situation for sure.
Though it does seem like Ganondorf has no problems killing civilians.
Oh yeah, no, and that's why I think like we can't put it too high. Like he definitely would murder us in a heartbeat. And like the divine beasts like are kind of scary as a concept in the newer games, like in the Breath of the Wild kind of like wider lore. The Guardians, if we're in that universe, like they're just
Oh
kind of
man.
walking around and shooting you with a laser. I don't know, that doesn't seem good. Again, I think a lot of things you can avoid by staying within the city limits of Kakariko Village. But I think that's it. Am I back?
You are.
Okay, good.
Keep going.
Yes. No, I think like this is definitely survivable to me.
All
Or
right.
like fighting for our lives situation. Yeah.
That is what I'm putting it. Fighting for our lives. Uh Here's one I don't know too much about, Geo.
Okay. Okay.
Xenoblade Chronicles.
This is above my pay grade. I feel like we need this should be like an audience submission on this one to figure out what its deal is. There's big war in this world. It seems like it's sci-fi, no good things happening. Uh, it seems like a Fire Emblem kind of situation, if I recall correctly. But I don't 100% know if it's like constant death in this universe. I almost just since we don't quite know, I would almost hedge our bets and say it's a fighting for our lives situation.
Let's throw it on there.
Yeah.
Two left, and then we will wrap up. This one's pretty easy, I think, and that is Wave Race.
Yeah, that's better than right. There's no. Well, can we make sure that it's not an F-Zero situation?
No, we cannot. We're just going to
Okay.
assume that we are riding around on a wave runner.
Yeah, forget it. Yep.
Everything's
Yeah.
great. There's a orca riding alongside us, like not attacking us, just hanging out with us.
Perfect.
It's an old Daniel Tosh bit. It's like they say money can't buy happiness, but have you ever seen somebody frowning on a wave runner? And the answer is no.
The only thing with this, I do think it is better than reality. I will say that I cannot swim, and that
No.
that
So
means
for
that
you, it's coffin emoji.
it is coffin emoji for me, but I recognize that for most people who know how to swim, which is most people that aren't me, this is fine. Yeah,
To
this
be
is better than
fair,
reality.
you have to wear a life vest when you ride a wave runner.
That's true. Really good point. I'm fine. I'll be fine.
As
I
somebody
got
who does ride the jet ski
Do
quite
you? Okay.
often,
Okay.
a life
There.
a life vest is
Oh, yeah.
a necessity.
It's riptides are dangerous, but I think for the most part we're good here. This is a pretty
Yes,
good vibes world. Yeah, for sure.
as long as you don't crash on shore, you're fine
I
most
probably
of the
would.
time.
I can't drive either. I don't have a license and I can't swim. So this is a coffin emoji world for me, but I think I'll be okay.
All right, and we are going to wrap up with a big one here. Can you guess what it is?
That was WA. Don't tell me it's Wii Sports.
It's not alphabetical. This
Oh,
is
okay,
one
okay.
that I saved the best for last, I think.
Oh, I don't know. What is it?
Pokemon.
Oh, I forgot about Pokemon somehow during all of this. Uh Dangerous world, surprisingly, right?
Yeah,
Extremely
so
hazardous world?
like at first I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to be I wanted Pokemon to be real so badly because you didn't have to go to
Yes.
school. You just like went on an adventure with your friends and captured Pokemon and everything. Then I saw like Beedrill and I was like, never mind, don't need that in my life. But that's like the least of our worries. Like there are
Yeah.
Pokemon that like target children. There's like
Yeah,
Drifloon. Like
you
there's
can't
the
trust
Pokedex.
balloons.
The Pokedex entry is like it has carried many children to the afterlife.
Yeah, the thing is like it's like
Mimikyu.
the thing is like everybody's made a life in this world and so like clearly they know how to deal with it, but if I'm thinking of like I am coming to this world and there's 900 creatures that I do not know anything about, like how they operate, and I'm walking and I see a balloon and I'm like, "Oh, neat, a balloon." And then I go to the afterlife. Like I think In that situation, I think this is survivable if you know the world, but if you are thrown into it, you are dead in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Five, like flat. You walk outside and you're like, oh, I'm going out in the field today to hang out. And again, you get gored by a Tauros or something, right? That you don't know is out there. I just think any situation in this universe where you could get gored is bad. I think it could be coffin emojis secretly.
I think it's going to be coffin emoji. You know, there's also Yveltal, who is one of the legendaries of Pokemon X and Y, where his Pokedex entry literally says that if he dies, he takes the entire universe with him.
Yeah, I think this is the worst. I think this is actually the most dangerous world out of anyone that we've talked about. And the fact that people do survive it is crazy to me. This is, yeah, no, I think I would die instantly. Like faster than any of these other worlds. I think I would stand a better chance in the F-Zero races, and I can't drive a car. 100%.
All right, well, that is our tier list. I'm going to do a quick rundown, and then we will call it an episode. In
Okay.
Better Than Current Reality, we have Animal Crossing, Chibi Robo, Nintendogs, Pilot Wings, Street Pass Me Plaza, Tomodachi Life, and Wave Race. I think I
Perfect.
stand by all those.
Yeah.
Less Than Ideal but Survivable, Earthbound, Pikmin, Famicom Detective Club, Yoshi.
Yep.
Struggle to Survive, Advance Wars, Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, Mario Party, and Super Mario Brothers.
Love it.
Fighting for Our Lives, Fire Emblem, Kirby, Super Smash Bros., Zelda, and Xenoblade Chronicles, and Coffin Emoji, F-Zero, Metroid, Splatoon, Star Fox, and Pokemon.
That actually, yeah, that sounds perfectly right to me. I don't want to change a single thing there.
Good,
Beautiful.
because that is the last question I
done.
had for you. But before we close out, I do want to let everybody know that next week I will be able to talk about my hands-on session with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Just this week, I traveled to New York, or as I call it, the land of Geo, for some extended hands-on time with Donkey Kong Bonanza, so you'll hear my full impressions of what I played. But for the time being, Geo, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me for this episode of All Things Nintendo.
Thank you so much. I'm glad that we've determined how we can die.
And thank you so much, everyone, for listening. As you know, my Patreon and the associated Discord server are the best ways to get any questions or comments in. You can also get in touch with me at brian@allthingsnintendo.com or hit me up on Blue Sky or Instagram at Brian P. Shea. Also, find my YouTube channel because we are right at 1,000 subscribers, and that would help the show out a lot. Geo, where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find my writing about video games at digitaltrends.com, but you can mostly find me on Blue Sky these days at Mario Prime. I post too much. Go there.
That is our show for this week. Thank you again for listening. Take care. We'll see you next time. Before we wrap up this episode of All Things Nintendo, I just want to give a special shout out to the $10 patrons to the show. Alex Stadnick, Andy Junkins, Ben Richland, Chaps My Ass, Derek Sigmund, Dusty Beeman, Ian T. Clark, Jason Thompson, Jawar Hello, Johnny Five, Jordan Sloat, Jose Villalobos, Joshua DeProy, Casey Radioman, Cody Gibson, Creeper207, Pat Roberts, Paul at Drunk on Mako, Pratable, Rob McCann, Bobby Mac 265, Robert Sosa, Roberto Nieves, Roger Reichert, Russell Sayer, Smithy Poo, Zachary Pliggy, and Zek 3 Sword Sama. Thank you all so much for your continued support. This show could not exist without you.